So for step 13, rear dampers 2, well, this is where we need to fill the cylinders with oil. And the biggest thing that we're doing in this step is removing the air bubbles. So once we've done that in step 1, we've got to put on our oil seal, clean it up, and then we're going to put the cap on. And we should actually see that this is a bit more like a gas chamber, so that when you push the piston rod up, it's actually going to want to push down again. But we'll see as we go. So that's the only part that we need for step 13 other than the oil. So I'll set this up and we'll put the oil in. So let's grab one of our cylinders and we need to fill this with the oil. And you're going to want to fill this all the way. There's quite a bit of oil that goes into this one. We're getting up to the top now. Okay, let's see how this goes. So you can see that there are air bubbles in there. So I'm going to slowly push this up and pull down. And the idea with this is we're trying to remove as much air as we can. Now, by the looks of it, there's no other bubbles being formed below the piston rod. Now, I'm gonna top it up just a bit here. Yeah. So you can see that there's a couple of air bubbles at the top, but below, everything seems to be running really smooth and no new air bubbles are being formed. And there, see, that one ended up popping. So you see how we've cleared the oil of any little air bubbles? Okay, so I'm happy with that. So what do we have to do next? We need to put on our oil seal. And the way they're showing this is it's going to sit on the top, and the extra oil is going to basically come around and pour down the sides. And so you want like paper towel to soak it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this on and push. You'll notice it's all leaking all over the place. That's okay. That's what we need it to do. But it should create a nice seal. So I'm just going around now, making sure that I soak up all of the excess. And then we're going to grab the XY piece, or I mean the Y2 piece, and we're going to put this on the top, turn it, and tighten it as much as you possibly can. That feels pretty good. Now, you'll notice this should actually push back out when I push this in. It's not doing. Maybe it's a little different, because it's definitely, a lot of times it'll act like almost like a gas chamber. But it doesn't matter. It feels good. These are nice and smooth, and there's definitely going to be more dampening with these. Well, we'll see if that pop happens with the other one. But that still feels good. Okay, so let's do the other one. So again, pull the rod all the way down, and we're going to fill the cylinder with the oil. Here we go, we're getting to the top here. I want to fill this a bit more. There we go. And you can see we've got the air bubbles, so I'm going to push. And we're just going to slowly pull this up and down. And the idea being is that we're pushing the air to the top to remove the air bubbles. Notice all those bubbles that were there are no longer there. Now, just because I want to fill this just a touch more, because when we put that oil seal on, we want to make sure that it's sealing everything and we've got as much oil in there as possible. So there's a few little air bubbles still left in here. But not anymore. It looks pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. So again, I'm going to wrap this paper towel around the cylinder. I'm going to grab our oil seal and I'm just going to put it on and push all the way. So now the paper towel is grabbing all of that excess. There's still some, so we're going to have to just go around a bit, soak it all up. Just like that. Bit of a slimy business, but it's okay. Okay, now most of that is off. I'm going to grab our end cap, and we're going to turn this and do it all the way. Nice and tight. There we go. Let's see if this does the push back. Well, a little bit, but not much. It's funny because some shocks, they really push back, others don't. But that's okay. Like, this feels very, very smooth. And I really like the DTO2 rear end. The oil dampening seems to work really, really well. And this is exactly the same. Or I should say DTO3. So as a DTO4, they're pretty much the same shocks as on the DTO3. But yeah, I'm good with that. Awesome. So there's our two shocks ready to go. So step 13 is done. And now we're going to be able to work on step 14, and we're going to figure out the ride height and add the springs. So for step 14, rear dampers 3, well, we've got to make 2 of these again. So what we're going to do is take our cylinder from the last step. We've got this B15 piece that has to go on, then the spring, then X5. Now, we also are going to be adding a spacer. Now this will be to do with ride height. So the larger one will give you greater ride height. The smaller one will give you a smaller ride height. Because on the DTO3, the Neo Fighter, I used the X7, I'm going to do the same thing with this kit because I like the higher ride height. So over here we've got our springs, we've got the cylinders, and then of course there's our B15 part and our end cap pieces right here. So I'll set this up and we'll put these on. So this is going to be a relatively easy step. We're going to grab our shock here. We're going to put on our B15 piece, which just looks like that. Put that on there. Then we're going to grab our spring. And, oh, actually, before we do that, I should put on this one because we are going to do the X7. So X7 is going to be here first. Then we're going to put on our spring, pull the spring back, and then we have this X5 piece that's got to go on, just like that. And there we go. There is one of our finished dampers. And this really does feel nice and smooth. And you can feel I guess you could, I always feel with the oil-filled shocks, it's kind of like a pressure chamber. So you can tell as you're pushing this up, the spring's wanting to push it back, but it really is going to give you some nice dampening. So that's great. So again, on this side, we need to first put our B15 piece up. I'm going to be using the X7, so we're going to have a taller ride height. Slide that on there. Grab our spring, and in fact, put that on there. How did I do that? I did it on that way. It doesn't matter which way, but notice that there seems to be more spring at one end than there is at the other. I tend to put the sort of the more coiled area at the top, and slide that on, and there we go. Now, it doesn't matter which way you do it. I just prefer the more coiled area to be at the top of the shock. But there we go. There are our 2 rear dampers, and they look and feel awesome. So step 14 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 15, and we're going to attach the rear dampers.